That's not fair to have that in your band. That'll get you into Juilliard. That'll get you into Juilliard, bro. And then you go into this. Okay. That ain't fair, bro. That ain't fair. Bro, that's not fair, man. That's not fair. That is not fair. Love Bites, swan song with a Chopin etude and basically a piano solo going out on the end there. There's a lot going on in this track. There's so much happening in this performance right here. I will do my best to suss out the finer points of this track. There's a moment there where she looks like it's too easy, and that's where I laughed, and I was like, I hope you caught that. That was the flex that these girls put out. And this isn't a pun to Midori's, bodybuild. I actually saw that on Instagram. I think she got 4th place in some bodybuilding competition. So well done. It wasn't a pun on that. What it does is it reminds me of the old saying, have you ever heard of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers? Well, everybody always talked about how Fred Astaire was a great dancer. And people would say, yeah, but Ginger Rogers did it backwards in heels. So, when I watch this, I say, first off, they're all wearing heels. Incredible. Incredible that energy maintains itself when on 4-inch spikes is what you're doing. So the level of professionalism that you're getting with this band, I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you haven't figured out why old metalheads love Bites, you're not paying attention. You think it's some superficial thing. You think it's some, hot Asian girls. Bro, it's not. This is a great example of how to take an almost Pavlovian sound to metalheads, cleaning it off of the nostalgia and the dust, and bringing in this modernity that not only matches that Pavlovian tone you're used to, but it impresses upon you the evolution that maybe you've missed out on, if that makes any sense. A lot of credit I give to Asami, the lead singer, for doing what she's doing, because I don't think people understand how difficult it is to sing in 2 languages at the same time, in the same song or in the same show, and allow each one to be distinctive. Because you're talking about changing the way you shape your mouth, where you put your tongue, how you hold your teeth when you say certain things. And in English, American English, there are idioms and things like that that are difficult to translate. So I hope we understand the work that Asami puts in to her vocals. And you can hear, it's what I love about her vocals, man. They are, no matter what register she is in, she is so thick and rich in her vocals. Just stays tight, stays in her frame, no sharp edges, yet everything is bright. So it glows, it shines, it explodes in your head. Her vocals do, but there's no rattle in your ear. So even when she's hitting the high register in English, she is still able to control it effectively. And nowhere in here did I hear any danger zone. The danger zone is where they get into that scream in the throat. Because she's a classically trained singer, she knows how to use her breath, her breathing. She knows how to shape her notes with her mouth. And she does it with such grace and, I don't want to say flippancy, that's not the word I'm looking for, but a casualness that belies any of the hard work that she's putting into. And I said it at the beginning about that etude, that'll get you into Juilliard. Like if you walked into a Juilliard audition, sat down and played like that, You're in. It's brilliant. It is beautiful. You know, people throw the word genius around a lot. And especially in music. So-and-so is a musical genius. It's okay. Play Chopin. Play Beethoven. Just sit down at the piano and play it. Play it well. There are people playing in airports that are musical geniuses, right? It's like, bro, just because you wrote a good rap song doesn't mean you're a genius. That's genius. That's genius. That's brilliant. That is a skill, a talent, a connection to a song that not many of us make or able to make. And the grace and aplomb with which it is done is not just impressive, but it's also, in a way, disheartening, right? When you see that level of talent on a stage, it almost makes you go, well, I'm glad I do what I do for a living, right? Like, I'm glad these chicks aren't in radio. If that's what I'd have to keep up with, I'm glad I'm glad all the metal bands have to keep up with you. And going back to what I said about old metalheads, what you're hearing here is this beautiful mixture of that Malmsteen, the Vai, even the Satriani, because there are elements in here where they're doing the progressive metal blues and they're hitting these certain notes and chords that take you back. That's what I'm saying. So there's the connection I'm making. So when I hear something new, I'm able to go back and say, well, cool, dude, this is like this stuff you were jamming on. So yeah, dude, it's the next iteration. And then when you start to add everything around it, the vocals, the bass playing, because again, don't allow someone just standing there belie what they're doing on the bass. When you put all that together, it drips with the modernity. Now, those drums are like nothing you can describe. I try every time to describe her drumming. You know, she's running 10 miles, blah. I've tried all of the allegories and the metaphors and the all that and the comparisons and all of this. That is a different human being. That is a different level of drumming. That is a complete, its own world of very complicated yet seamless drumming. So the entire track is driven by those drums and the bass. The bass and the drums are driving this track. Yes, the guitars are in front. Her vocals are killing all this. The piano's beautiful, everything. But once the drums and the bass start, there was this old radio commercial I made where I said, climb aboard for the ride of your life, or something like that. That's what I was trying to create with that statement right there. Like, in my head, there was a certain sound, a certain heaviness, a certain depth, a certain cadence that I was looking to portray in that simple statement. And what they do in this track is they dominate. You ever watch two cats play? And one of them will grab the other by the back of the neck and pin it down. I know what they're doing. But get what I'm saying here. That's what this track does to you. It pins you down. And it tells you, don't go anywhere. You can't go anywhere. You can barely breathe. It's suffocating, but in a welcome way. And it has everything to do with those drums beating the ever-loving crap out of you, is what they're doing. But you accept it. You welcome it. You enjoy it because of everything that's happening around it. Beautiful colors. Beautiful textures coming through this track on every level, from the bass to the vocals. And again, I give Asami all the credit in the world for working as hard as she does to sound that good, knowing that there is a learning curve here. You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. And going back to what I said before, another great example of why old metalheads love LOVEBITES. Because they are traditional, yet they're fresh. There's classic tones and colors in everything that they do, yet even those classic tones and colors drip with modernity. So they're brilliant at their compositions. They're brilliant at their tone capture. They're brilliant at their pacing and their cadence. And when it all comes together, it is this deluge of thrash that just pins you down and says, listen, and you're like, yeah. So it's wonderful how they're able to extricate that from a deeper part of you, because that's what it's talking to. It's this, animalistic, sloping forehead type of feeling inside of you, and they tap into it just so well, and they do it with such grace and such a demure disposition that it again, it's almost like a trap. it's almost like, yeah, man, all right, and you go willingly, you willingly go bleeding into the blades.
それではその曲の先陣を切るのは新たに仲間となったこの